So once again, we're live here at the PRI show Friday afternoon as we've got special guest here, Dave Schultz with the Northwest Ohio Tractor Pullers, Bowling Green, Ohio. Dave, glad to have you here.
Oh, glad to be here. It's been a great PRI show and just spreading the word about tractor pulling.
Yeah, we're here full pull live here in the PRI show. We're here in Lucas Oil Stadium, and big event coming up. Of course, we talk the third weekend in August each and every year, and we've talked over the years about how one will finish up and we'll move right on to the next one, planning it, and how are things going?
Things are going really well. We looked at last year. We made a bunch of changes out in the campground. We wanted to make it safer for the fans. It got the party got a little over the top, so we throttled it back a little bit, and the changes that we were made, I cannot thank the fans enough that it worked out well. Mm-hmm. So looking forward to what this year brings.
So talking to Ron Capps this morning, he said his favorite event is Brainerd, Minnesota, and he says they have got out in their campground, they've got quite a party out there. And we had, of course, to inform him about the party out there in Bowling Green. So we'll see if maybe one of these years the schedules will line up here and be able to get Ron out there.
Oh, that would be great to have him.
To see things out there and see how it compares to Brainerd, Minnesota. But, of course, great event. All the sessions Thursday night start things off with the, third weekend in August in Bowling Green. And any tweaks or anything with the schedule this year?
Right now, we don't have really any big tweaks that we want to do. We're looking at how we're going to put the classes together. I mean, that's one of the big things. We want to make sure that the show is the best for the competitors and the fans. I mean, if the fans aren't happy with what's going on, we need to make sure that they're happy. Mm-hmm. We try to pull it so that we give the pullers time. We try not to run them back to back sessions in case something would break. And
right.
Those are the big things for this year. We made enough changes for last year, so we want to kind of just keep it going one more year, and then we'll go from there. We are looking at some things, with the campground. Just it went well enough, so it's like, okay, is there some things that we can throttle back on, if possible.
One thing we got to talk about was, this year, of course, Mother Nature, kind of threw her ugly hand in things, but pretty much we had record entries this year, Bowling Green,
yes.
Ohio.
Yeah,
looking back at some of the years, and it was like this had to be one of the bigger years as far as entries went.
Entry-wise, it was, and of all of the weather, we only lost one class.
Out of that whole, yes.
Out of all of it,
yep.
We were able to get one class that we could not get pulled. And I know the track crew of the blue shirts, they get mad at me because they said, every year you've been president, we've had some kind of, weather-related issue, but they're second to none.
Oh.
I mean, they look at what equipment they have to have, what they need to do to make sure they can turn those tracks. They've told me numerous times, give them 2 hours after it stops raining. If it stops raining, they can turn that track around, and whether it's equipment that they bring in. I know they brought in an additional rototiller this year so they could work rototill both tracks at the same time. I mean, there's those guys are second to none, and they get mad at me because I never give the opportunity to say, can we pull? It's when can we pull?
When can we go? Right.
When can we go? And I go down there, and this year it was like, I'm sitting there looking, tell me what time. Tell me what time. I said, just give us a little bit more time to be able to get that done. So, I cannot be more proud to spread the word of what those guys do, because it's just unbelievable.
I tell everybody, if you're there, just watch these guys. It's like magic watching them work. It is just unbelievable how everybody's got their job and what they do, and it's unbelievable on how fast they can get things going.
Well, we have the crew that films behind the hook for us, mm-hmm. and every year when the track crews out there, doing something because Mother Nature decided not to play nice with us, they shot video of it, and it's just, when you stand back and look at it, it is just so cool to see what they do, mm-hmm. and get the job done.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Now, let's talk about the whole event itself. I mean, we're just, not just talking about a tractor pull. I mean, we've got all kinds of other things going on that same weekend there at Bowling Green. I mean, you've got, a bunch of, the toy tractor music, toy tractor.
We have the toy tractor.
Yep.
We have the toy tractor show, and there's people come from all over the country to set up, to sell the toy tractors, but they also have, different things. Some of them are on display. I mean, some of these guys do some really good stuff. We have the Retired Tractor Museum. If you're into history at all, doesn't matter if it's tractor pull history or whatever, but you go there and see some of these tractors that it pulled 30 and 40 years ago. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah, I know myself being part of the Rusty Tailgate there the last couple of years when the induction for the Hall of Fame, something just proud to be a part of. And, the last couple of years, it's just one of the highlights for the weekend for me, for sure.
We love having you and Miles there doing, the Rusty Tailgate and the Hall of Fame. You guys know all of that history. I lovingly call you the tractor pull encyclopedia because you can sit there and go, in this year, this is what happened, and you know that history. I wish I knew a quarter of that history, but you bring so much to that, and it's just great to have you two as part of that part of it. I say I have my A team for that part of it, so it's really good. We have the kiddie tractor pull. So many little kids sit there and go, they see those big guys out there. Oh, I'd love to be one of those men and women out there, and they get a chance to get on a tractor and pull. They get, we bring them up in the winter circle right before, the afternoon sessions and give them trophies, the ones that placed, and it's just so cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts too, is when the kids all come out with their trophies and right in front of the crowd and everybody, just the looks on their face, that was, and then we had, I think it was Danny Schmuckers that brought his trophy out in the winter circle.
Yep.
Remember we had, that was so cool.
Well, and something that was actually just given to us, Ned Walliser just gave back to the club his kiddie tractor pull that he pulled when he was a kid.
Wow.
And it's right now stuck in our boardroom. It's like, I wanted that thing under lock and key. It is so cool. It's all lettered up, and we're actually going to hang it. We're working on some museum stuff in our building, and we're going to actually hang it from the rafters. He said he actually had it in his barn hanging from the rafters, so it's like, all right, we're going to hang it up. He's still got the chains on it and everything, so we're going to hang that up, and then it'll be at our museum this coming year.
Okay.
But I think it's 1973.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just so cool. And so we've got that. We're planning on doing the concert again on the tracks on Wednesday night. Got some things we'd like to do a little different than we did last year. To get the crowd support behind that. We really want to have a rockin' party.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And those are the fun things, that is in addition to the tractor pull. We talked about the campground. There's some really neat things that go on out there. And I had some people tell me with the rule changes that we had, it took it back 20 years. They said, we're having fun again. And so... Well,
that's where we talked about that, where it could be a problem or could have been a problem, and you guys took care of that right away and nipped that in the bud and moved ahead, did with the fence, and it did what it needed to do.
It did what it needed to do, and it made the party fun again, and that's one of the things we want to make sure that 100 years from now, they're still pulling in Bowling Green. You and I aren't going to be there. But that's the thing, we even during the event, we actually will make, changes on the fly, if we see something that needs to be changed. But literally, the Monday after the event, we sit there and go, okay, what went wrong? What went right? What do we need to do to change for the next year? Because at that point, the countdown clock's reset, and we're going on to the next one. It's about 18 months that we start planning for the next event. Yeah. So we've already started planning for 2026. And we haven't even gotten close to finishing the planning for 25 yet.
For 25. So tell the folks how it is structured. So you're the president, but it seems like you guys have, the track is taking care, all different sections. How do you guys work that?
Okay. I'm the president of the board of directors. We have 9 directors.
Okay.
And so we meet twice a month. We meet the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday of the month, and take care of the business side of things.
Mm-hmm.
We look at, we got bills we got to pay every month and all of that stuff. But in those meetings, we also look at what we need to do for the event. This year I actually started something. We actually have the crews come in and tell us what you need for your crew to make it better. And when we talk crews, we have, the the ones you know about, the track crew, the lineup, the scales, tech inspection. Those are crews. But we also have the courtesy cart drivers. We have the gate people. We have the junior fair building, which for some of the for the pullers and the blue shirts, they actually serve meals. We actually have a crew that's all they do is basically serve lunch to all the other crews during the week of the event. It's more than just 3 days that we show up. We show up the Friday before the week before the event.
Okay.
And so we take over the fairgrounds at that point, and then we sit there and Friday night we drive through and do an inspection with the fairgrounds, and then it starts setting up right there. I mean, I'm not done with inspection yet, and our crews are starting to do what they need to do. We've got an electrician crew. These guys are professional electricians, but they're club members. So if there's something that needs to be done for the pullers, or if there's a power issue, these guys take care of that. We have some maintenance, people that do some things that need to be done, throughout the thing. There's so much. I mean, it's a town, and that's, so every little thing you've got puller registration. The big one, puller parking.
Yes. Yes.
And because the first pullers start showing up the Saturday before the event.
Right after Napoleon, right?
Right
Don't
after
they
Napoleon.
beeline
Some of them don't pull in Napoleon, so they literally just come. We open the gate. I think it's 4:00, if I remember right, 4:00 on Saturday. So we start having them come in, and literally, I think it was Jeff Hodem was the first. He was number one.
Surprise, right?
Sitting there, and what was cool is he was number one there, and he did a Facebook post on it. Somehow the lock got turned, and the lock was on the outside.
Oh,
and I'm sitting there going, all right. So we're sitting there, and he goes, well, just hand me the key, and I'll unlock it. And he was all, being Mr. Real serious about this, and I knew something was going to happen. Well, he took the key, and of course he turned around and walked away. And of course he had somebody take a picture of him. He had the keys to the castle, so he was all proud of that. So that was fun, and he unlocked the gate, and so they start moving in. Well, as soon as Napoleon's done pulling, you're right, they beeline in and they start rolling in all night long, but we have a crew of people. That's all they do for the entire event is get everybody shoehorned in.
It's amazing. I don't know how they do it, but, I mean, a lot of the guys have their same spots that they go to.
Pretty much.
But then, like you say, you've got somebody that's never been there before, and you stuff them in here, stuff them in there, and it's just amazing over the years how that, he opened up that back area, and they started parking back there and just kept going.
Yep. Yeah. And I made a comment. We were very fortunate, again, this year to get Super National Pull of the Year. Such an honor. It's voted on. And, for us, it is just an honor to be named Super National Pull of the Year. Comes with a lot of responsibility because it's like, okay, what do we need to do to make it better for next year?
Right. And you guys are never ones to sit status quo. It's always, build something bigger and better. Now you got your presence here at the PRI show. How long have you guys done that?
This is our third year setting up.
Okay.
We have Grant Theobald's Mini in our booth this year, and that is such great. We're looking to get that next generation involved, and that was the cool thing when we asked the Theobalds. We said, can we get Grant's Mini? Because there's a lot of people walking by, and they say, oh, man, this is really cool. Who pulls this? And, it's a young guy pulling it.
Yep, young guy in college.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and they go, really? It's not, and I says, yeah. I said, that's the part we really need to embrace. As promoters, as sanctioning bodies, we need to get those young people more involved.
Right, absolutely, because they are the future. I mean, to keep these things going now. But also, Bowling Green's had a nice marriage, if you will, with PRI over the last couple of years.
Yeah, they came out a couple years ago and did some video series. A lot of what you see on their advertising, on their Instagram page, on their TikTok stuff, a lot of that was shot at Bowling Green, and they did some behind the scenes things, and just unbelievable. We've had a great relationship with them. Dr. Jamie Meyer was the president of PRI at the time, and one of the things he said when they came out, he never seen a fan base so passionate as tractor pulling. fans. We were standing, if you know Bowling Green, in front of the covered grandstand, we were standing just in the aisleway. And he goes, look at these fans. Just look at what they're doing. And that was just so cool to see, because, if it was a red tractor or a green tractor or, an unlimited mod, they were just excited about it. And he goes, there's people that sit there at an IndyCar race and they just kind of sit there and just not do anything. And
right.
He said, our fans, they don't sit in their seat. They're up cheering, and you think it was like a football game.
Yep, having a good time. And one thing that has kind of gone away was the running of the seats. What was the? I mean, every year you'd see that on Facebook when they would, it was the end of the fair, and then people would line up. How did that all come about there?
Well, yeah, basically at the end of the Wood County Fair, the week before the week of the event is the end of the Wood County Fair. And so people would start lining up to get in line to do their chairs. Well, years ago, it was literally, they swung the gates open and it was a stampede to go put their chairs on the north side. And a couple years, somebody fell and got trampled over. So then it was 2017 when I got elected to the board. It's like, okay, we need, again, a safety thing. We need to change it. What are we going to do? So we changed it that year, and it was not pretty on social media, but we changed it to the walking of the chairs. And so we opened the gates, but we had it aisleway, and they walked. And on the way in, people are just going, this just isn't going to work. This just isn't the same. And it was amazing. On the way out, if I shook one hand, I shook 1,000 people's hand. They said, this did work. We still got our spot. We still were able to get it. And then, like the next year or so, people kept saying, just sell us the spots.
Yeah, we're more than willing to pay for it.
We're more than willing to pay for it. We don't have to sit in line for almost a week.
Wow.
I mean, the fair gets over on Sunday. Early Monday morning, people were getting in line. I mean, and you sit there and go, man, what kind of great fan base is this? I mean, it's the greatest thing in the world to see your fan base getting in line 2 weeks before.
Like a Black Friday,
to go put their chairs out. But a lot of them said, look, we're having to take off work. Can't you just sell it to us? And we had enough of the north side fan base talk to us, and we went, yeah, we need to do this. So, and again, then it's like, okay, how are we going to do it? These are the things that happen in these board meetings that some of the directors kind of get upset because some of them don't end in the day they start. I think the latest I've seen is 20 of 3 in the morning.
And then you were telling me they sometimes go out in the parking lot.
Then there's the meeting, and then we'll go out, and a couple of us sometimes they'll sit there for another half hour, 45 minutes, just talking what we just talked about.
Right.
Just again, we want to make sure we do the right things. I look at it. A couple of our directors, Jim Alt, who's here at PRI, his dad was a director 40 years ago. And I look at the heritage there of, I don't want to be the generation and the group of directors that mess this thing up. So that's why there's so much conversation. But we looked at, okay, you got those squares. About how many chairs can you get in? Because then it's like, how much do you charge? And we had people saying, well, you charge $500. And it's like, oh, no, we want to make it fair to those people. We don't, it's not we didn't want it to be a money grab or something like that. So we looked at it, about how many chairs can you get in? For about how many chairs you can get in, it's the same as what people would pay for a reserved seat in the grandstand.
Okay. So fair, like you say, just fair works, and you don't have that issue anymore.
Right. Well, in the year that we pulled the trigger on doing it, the people showed up 5 hours after the fair ended. The fair board blew a gasket because it was like there was a line almost a quarter-mile long.
Wow.
And they were in the way of getting the grounds cleaned up so the fair board could give it to us on Friday. So we that year we did make the decision to do it, but what we did is we still did the walking of the chairs, but we put flags in there so that they could walk in, they could put their chairs. Now they got their 10 by 10 spot. They could come up. We registered who it was, so we knew who was sitting in those spots. So
then it's all taken care of. And then you got the So, Dave, what are the dates this year, and what year are we working on here? For
This is 58.
58.
And it's the 14th, 15th, 16th of August, 2025.
So the early days,
It's
right?
the early days.
It's the early days, and then, third weekend in August each and every year, the largest tractor pull in the world, Bowling Green, Ohio, and glad to be a part of it. And, of course, Full Pull Live this year will be there once again, bringing all the action in, and starting Thursday night, things will get rolling.
Looking forward to it, and looking forward to having Full Pull Live there. I know you guys did the pre-pull show, and I heard great things about that, of being out there. I know I had the opportunity to get on the one day and then had to leave right to go, I think it was Thursday, to go to the driver meeting. And so, it's great working with the entire Full Pull crew. I've heard great things about the live stream. The video quality has been great. I've enjoyed it when I've been at home and not been able to go. And so I think this is going to go a long way, and it's great to see. I know we had the guys from Better out there, the Handshake Bet guys, and watching their videos, it was just so cool to see
them interact with the fans. Yeah,
exactly. That's what it's all about. I was telling some people last week at the NTPA banquet, it's the people that make Bowling Green Bowling Green. I've sat in those stands the week after the pull, kind of just reflecting on what just happened. But when I sat in the middle of the north side grandstands all by myself, and I'm just going, it's just the people.
Yeah.
It's the people that make Bowling Green Bowling Green. It's not the ground. It's not it's not even the tractors. It's the people that make Bowling Green. But it's that way with every tractor pull. But yes, my heart's in Bowling Green. So, just being able to see that is just unbelievable.
Now, when we talk, we'll wrap things up here a little bit, but we talk about the blue shirts, the membership. Where is everybody kind of more or less in the area, or do you have members that are a little bit further out, or how does that all work as far as members go?
We have people that drive 90 to 100 miles if they come to a club meeting.
Okay.
So, it's mainly, Northwest Ohio. But, I have some people that live down around the Columbus area.
Okay.
One of our former directors lives in the Wapakoneta area. We've got a couple directors that live in the Ada, Ohio area, home of the Wilson Football Company, which was cool. We did a football for our 50th.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
that was where it was like, okay, but it was some of the directors. But we've got people coming, a long way. Myself, I live 12 and a half miles from the fairground. So for me, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. But, we got people coming from all over the place. And, we have 225 members.
I was going to say it was 200 there for the longest time, wasn't it? And then
And then we moved it up to 225. And then they started a thing for the people that have been there a long time. As the older members, they start not being able to do as much as they used to, even though they really try. They started a thing with the life membership. You have to think about this, 40 consecutive years.
Was actually talking to Don Schaller last week, and he said 82, I think, was his. So he says, "Yep, I made it."
Yep. He got life membership, and you have to be nominated for that. Okay. But it's 40 consecutive years. I know some members that have been in there longer, but at some point in that lifespan, they missed a year.
Okay.
And so it's 40 consecutive years. In theory, we have more members, and I know in past years, like when I joined the club in 2003, I actually put my application in 2001. There was a 2-year waiting list to get in.
Okay.
So if people say, "Wow, you don't have a waiting list anymore." Well, it's the numbers have kind of changed a little bit because
accommodated this, and
Yeah, we added 25. That actually took our waiting list and just eliminated. At that time we had like 18 people on the waiting list. So that part got done, and that was just a bylaws change. It was like, it's a bigger event. We need more people. And no, this event is not put on with just 225 or 240 people. It's about 1,200 to 1,400 people that put this thing on. We have the 4-H's and the FFAs, and we have a special horsemen's group that man a gate. We have the one town, Grand Rapids, Ohio. They have their public pool. They have a group that come and work because we actually pay them to do their task. And then they use that for those youth programs.
Right.
So that's some of the good things that come out of the tractor pull.
Giving back to the community.
We give back to that community. So, we make sure that we, spread that out so that we, and it's a contract. They come and tell us at Seago athletic boosters clean up the trash, and it's amazing how much trash
over a weekend
is over the weekend, and they go in the stadium every single morning and clean up, and then they come through Sunday, and at 8:00, it looks like a tornado went through the event, and by 2:00 that afternoon, it's almost hard to tell that there was something that went through there.
Wow.
It's an army of people that come through, and they literally line up and walk through, like the Boy Scouts would, policing a campsite. They start at one end of the campground and they just walk all the way through. So it's just amazing, everything that it takes to get the event done. But it is such an honor to be able to do what I do and be able to talk about what they do.
Right.
And
yeah, like I say, if you've never been there, make sure Destination Pull right there, Bowling Green, Ohio, the National Tractor Pulling Champions, celebrating year 58 this year.
This is 58.
58. Well, Dave, always a pleasure to talk with you.
Dan, thank you so much.